right, go ahead with questions for Coach.
All right, we'll get started wherever you guys would like.
How pleased were you with your defensive effort about spring?
Yeah, no, I feel like we're in a really good spot. I feel like every day this spring we got better as a unit. We stacked a lot of good days together, and I feel like all that momentum and chemistry is carried over to the summer. And main thing is get guys healthy and keep those guys healthy and continue to stack good days in training camp. And I feel like we're in a really good spot.
If you had to name one strength of your defense coming out of the spring, what would that be?
One strength, I feel like we're really fast and athletic. Obviously we got some big dudes up front, but I feel like in the back end, the back seven, we're really athletic and can run. And you either got speed or you're chasing it.
When it comes to the linebacker room, who's got it better than you guys right now? How have you seen some of the younger guys, specifically Sammy Brown, step in to the defense?
Yeah, I think when he first got here, kind of swimming and just learning what to do and so forth and so on. But you could see like the spring game really, put in, his spring came to fruition in the spring game and really had a productive spring game. 8 tackles, sack on his very first play, and every day he got better. Obviously, growing up around the game, being a coach's kid, he soaks up as much knowledge as he can process things, and sky's the limit for him.
Wes, with Wade, how long do you think it'll take for him to sort of be truly comfortable there in a spot that requires?
Yeah, every game is a learning experience. There's new things, new wrinkles that you see every week. So it'll definitely take time, but I feel like, throwing him in the fire in the Kentucky game, I feel like he handled that really well. Not a lot of mental issues or misfits. Just got to get more comfortable knowing where his help is in the run game. Pressure-wise, he'll be fine. Coverage-wise, he'll be fine. But just get comfortable. Key reads, initial footwork. Understanding where leverage and help is. Just continue to harp on those things, and I feel like he's just natural in there.
Coach, we talk about it a lot from the player standpoint, but you being in the system another year, obviously being a little bit more comfortable with what you want to run, how does that impact the game plan and defense standpoint?
Yeah, I feel like this is going into year 3, obviously adding Rump into the equation, but I feel like everybody's on the same page. They all understand how I see the game, speak the game, teach the game, and I feel like my expectations, we take another step this year. We finished 8th in total defense last year, so hopefully we can improve upon that. We've got a great room. Staff-wise, we're all pulling in the same direction, got each other's back, a lot of fun in there, but at the end of the day, those guys know my expectations and going into the season.
When it comes to Peter Woods, how have you seen him grow heading into the season, and just how good can he be?
Yeah, he came in well beyond his years from a football understanding. Watching him in high school, he played all along the line, D-end, D-tackle, so forth and so on. So just from a knowledge standpoint, he picked things up pretty fast. And, he gives you so much versatility, play him inside, play him outside, all techniques along the line. And just the ability to process things. One time he may be a 5 technique, next play he slides inside, so forth and so on. But just his ability to process and understand the scheme, his techniques, block recognition and stuff, I feel like are well beyond his years.
With a guy like A.J. Hoffler, now that he's had a year in the system, where's he at coming into ball game?
Yeah, AJ's coming on really good. He's getting coached really hard every day by Coach Rump, and I'm excited to see where he's at when we start fall camp. Had a solid spring, and has been really working extremely hard this summer, and I feel like he's in a good spot, to get into the potentially earn playing time in the rotation.
How about corner? It's obviously Jay Lewis. So get that game, can just maybe
Yeah, be good to get Jay Lou back healthy first and foremost, but any of those guys have played winning football for us. Jay Lou, Shelton. It'll be interesting to see Corian when he gets back healthy. Obviously, adding Ashton this summer. Don't think I'm leaving anyone out, but all those guys, I feel like have an opportunity, to earn the right to run out there, and we'll see how that competition shakes out in the first few weeks of training camp.
What do you think Avion's ceiling is here in his second year, sort of being the guy?
Yeah, I mean, I feel very confident he can continue to improve upon a great freshman year. He's a ball junkie. He loves the grind. He's always in here studying, trying to improve his craft. They're up here on the weekends, all of those young DBs really pushing each other. And, I'm excited to see him take the next step. He's a highly competitive young man.
Peter Woods talking about his versatility, playing him inside or outside. Do you continue to learn to use him just in that versatility of either side, or is there one like inside that you prefer using?
Could you repeat that question? I couldn't hear. I'm sorry.
For Peter Woods talking about his versatility, would you want to continue to plan to use him in that versatility option of sometimes inside and outside, or is there a specific part on the defensive line that you want?
Yeah, I think it just depends personnel-wise what we want to do. Whether we want to have true big guys out there like the Notre Dame game where we had more 3D tackle type bodies, one edge defender, or you're in two edge defenders plus two D tackles. So our scheme gives us the versatility to do all that. I think it depends upon the opponent. Obviously, going against Georgia game one, they're massive up front, so we got to get big when they get big, and but just his versatility, his ability to process things gives you that advantage. But play it on the edge, play it on the inside, I think he can have the same dynamic impact that I expect from him.
When it comes to Barrett Carter, how big was it to get him back, and how have you kind of seen him grow into that leadership role and take control of being like, hey, this is my defense, this is my year?
Yeah, obviously getting that type of talent back is incredible, but first and foremost, he's an incredible young man, just a great leader. No one's more respected in this building than Barrett Carter, and just his work ethic every day, just showing up with the right mindset, right attitude. A lot of guys confide in him in the locker room, being the veteran guy going into year 4. He does a great job of pouring into the young men that have just arrived, and so forth and so on. Not only on the defensive side, but the offensive side, and just having that type of character and leadership back is incredible.
Outside of Barrett, who are some of the other guys maybe going into those leadership roles?
Yeah, I think just from my group, Barrett, obviously, and then Woodaz. He's a vocal, fiery type guy. He's not afraid to call guys out, challenge guys. And then the back end, you got RJ and Tyler Venables, who's been around here for a long time. Tyler's a coach on the field, same with RJ. He's one of the most savvy guys on the team. Just those two provide great leadership for those young DBs. And then young guys come along from a leadership standpoint. I would throw Aveion and Shelton and Khalil Barnes in that group as well. Then up front, Kate Denhoff provides leadership for that group, and then TJ and Peter and Peyton Page has really grown into that role as well for the inside guys.
When it comes to the DBs and specifically cornerbacks, has anybody stood out as players that maybe we're not talking about as much this summer?
Well, the last 2 weeks, the talk's been just, some of the freshmen, Ashton Hampton showing up, new guy rolling in on the scene, so we'll see where he's at, starting out in training camp, obviously getting Corian back healthy and seeing where he's at, but those are a couple of the guys just to throw their names out there.
You mentioned Khalil Barnes, man. As good as he was in his freshman season, how much more room does he have to grow and take another step?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously definitely room to grow. I think just from a knowledge standpoint, pre-snap wise, he can improve some on pre-snap alignments, leverages, just big picture understanding. We're going to ask him to be a highly versatile guy, so just continue to learn the big picture, what's going on around him, and obviously just continue to polish his technique.
Can you speak on the journey of last season with the big wins and the big loses? How has that impacted the summer, and how is that going to go into the start of the new season?
Yeah, I think the character of our football team really showed during the last stretch. Going into November, sitting there 4-4, and to rip off 5 straight wins in a row speaks volumes to the young men on this team. And so I've just seen that momentum carried into the off season, and I feel like guys have a chip on their shoulder. They got a lot to prove going into this year. Maybe we're not talked about as much as we have been in the past, but guys in this building, have used that as motivation, being focused, driven, and just got a lot to prove this year going forward. And I feel like that's why you saw Barrett come back, RJ, Tyler, all those senior guys that have been here 4 or 5 years. They want to go out the right way, and really seen that this summer with how they've been working, player-led stuff.
Obviously, Woods and Parker kind of the face of the program in a lot of ways. But in what ways are y'all sort of putting on their shoulders to get better and to maybe sort of improve themselves to the extent that y'all need?
Yeah, obviously they got great talent, but I feel like they can clean up technique, pre-snap alignments. Obviously you can react to blocks faster, process things better, and then just growing into a leadership role, challenge them to grow into that. And seeing that, like during the weekends, they're up here, whole D-line group, been cool to see all those guys, how they're working together.
Talk a little bit about the depth where you think the team is the deepest and what gives you a little concern.
Yeah, I feel like all 3 levels, I feel like we have really good depth. Maybe some areas that are talented but need that game experience. I feel like probably the most deepest group, maybe our inside guys up front. But I feel like there's a lot of guys that maybe doesn't have the game experience, maybe not are proven, but I feel like all 3 phases of our defense, 3 levels that we have solid depth, and really excited to see those guys get opportunities, early in the year to earn playing time and to show people, what they're about.
How's this team evolved in your 3 years? Talk a little bit about how your defense has evolved.
Yeah, kind of my philosophy defensively a little bit. I like big guys up front and then fast guys in the back end. And, as we continue to go forward, when I first got to Clemson, Romp, Dan Brooks, Hobby, they kind of molded my philosophy up front. Big guys inside, big guys on the edge as well. And then, so just moving forward recruiting wise, maybe we take different body types than we have in the past. And then in the back end, in today's world, I think you got to be really athletic even at the second level, because the way we get attacked in the run games, typically on the perimeter with how good we are inside. So linebacker-wise, you got to be really fast. So I put more of a premium on athletic ability and having 3 down linebackers per se. And then in the back end, I love playing man match coverages. So guys who can play man coverage is a premium in my mind. So that's a little bit about kind of how I see the game and how we recruit as well.
Has that changed over the 3 years of how you see the game? I mean, have you had that same philosophy in year 1 as you do in year 3?
Yeah, for sure. So, even going back over the years, during my time at Clemson, 2014, 2018, great D-lines, but also had great DBs, great second-level defenders. So.
Did Sammy just learn one position? Can you refresh me on that?
He started out learning Mike, and then, young guys, I typically don't like to ask them to do too much. I want them to learn one position first and foremost. Honestly, first and second down, kind of in our system, Mike and Will, there's not much difference between the two. Really, when you get into third down, when you're playing matchup defense, then you see Barrett matching up on tight ends or Woodaz or whoever it is, then it kind of gets a little more specialized in my mind. But starting out, I don't like to handicap guys per se with having to learn too much. I want them to just learn one thing, get comfortable in that role, and then let's go from there.
So at the start of camp, you sort of see which.
Yeah, Mike, and then progress him and to learn Will as well. Get comfortable there, and the more you can do, the more valuable you become.
What would you say is different about Barrett Carter this year than the last year's?
I feel like coming back, he has a lot to prove. I feel like he feels like he left some things on the table, and he wants to prove himself even more this year and go out the right way. And he's a finisher. He likes to finish things the right way.
What are you looking forward to most this fall?
Yeah, I'm just excited to get back with the guys. Like, I love training camp. I love the chemistry and just being with the guys every day. Spending 12, 14 hours a day in this building with those guys, just the camaraderie of that and just the team building that comes from it. I don't think I've ever been excited in 19 years of coaching than this season. And I feel like we got a chance. If things go the right way, we stay healthy, I think we got a chance to be really good. And so I'm just excited to get back, training camp and all that comes with that, the grind of the season and putting our best foot forward.
Nevo said a few times that he wouldn't pick 2 other linebackers in the country than Wade Woodaz and Barrett Carter. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, definitely. So I love my room. I love my guys. There's other guys that are coming along as well. So I would trade those guys for anybody in the country.
You talked a little while ago about the team not being talked about as much. Do you like maybe as a team overall maybe flying under the radar a little bit, being underestimated?
Yeah, definitely. Everybody likes to be the underdog, and just the chip on the shoulder mentality of a lot to prove. And I think it's shown this summer and the spring how guys have worked.
I'm sure you are very much moving along with Western Health. Where is he health-wise? What do you expect?
So, I have things to say.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Coach.
Anything else?
Hey, Coach, with the college football game coming out, you have Barrett Carter, you have Peter Woods, very highly rated, top 100 guys. What does it make you feel like to have such a high rating for a couple of the guys on your defense in the video game?
I don't even know how to answer that. So, I guess it's flattering growing up playing that game, up until the last version of it. So, hopefully we can get back into dynasty mode this year somehow. But it's pretty cool to see.
What do you think is so great about the game coming back for the landscape of college football? Just another avenue for fans to enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was the game for me growing up. You know, calling plays, calling your defenses, and building your teams, and just the competitiveness of playing your buddies, so forth and so on. But also just an opportunity for a lot of fans to enjoy the game as well, and to find out it's harder to call plays than they think. So
Going into fall camp, what are the kind of things you're circling at the top of your list for things you want to see improved or get better at before the season starts?
yeah, I mean, just if you look back statistically last year, maybe there's room for improvement in the red zone. You know, I think we were 8th in defensive efficiency in the red zone, but scoring percentages were a little higher than we like down there. So red zone's been a major emphasis, and then always harping situational football. So third down, you know, I feel like we can grow in that area as well, what we're doing there. And then explosive runs for touchdowns. You know, I think the explosive plays were down tremendously last year from 2022, but we gave up some big play runs that were really crucial. The Miami game, NC State game, so forth and so on. But those have kind of been the main focuses for the offseason.
Forcing turnovers was a big thing for your defense last year. Do you think they'll be able to replicate that much success in the turnover battle, or is it, you know, maybe going to be on par?
I want to improve upon it. So, no, that was awesome. You know, you get what you emphasize, and you know that's a big emphasis last year especially, but this year as well. So hopefully that comes to fruition as well. I'd like to break that. We tied it, but I'd love to break the school record for defensive touchdowns in the season.
Coach, apologize if you already talked about this, but Coach Easton was talking about moving Peter Woods around, moving him on the edge on a week-by-week basis, depending on who you're playing. How's he doing there? You know, and picking that up and just learning how to play that position.
No, he's picked it right up. I mean, he played on the edge in high school. He played on the edge last year, so nothing new there. So, just from a personnel standpoint, you know, they get big, we get big, and you know, he has a high football IQ. He understands block recognition from all different techniques, and just his ability to process schematically when he's inside versus outside gives him the ability to have that type of versatility as well.
I know you've had some turnover in the secondary, but just in terms of like the sheer like athleticism, skill set, is this potentially as talented a group of, you know, contributors in the back end as you're gonna have?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we have a chance to be really good back there. Obviously, a lot of guys that are young, with a good mixture of some old veteran guys like RJ and T-Bone, and but athletically, I feel like those guys. There's a lot of guys that can play really good man coverage and play tight coverage on guys. And you know, I feel like that's a game changer. The ability to play man, play deny the ball coverage, and make quarterbacks make precise throws on a consistent basis. You know, if you go back and look at the month of November last year, I think we led the country in pass defense. And shoot, it wasn't nothing earth-shattering. A lot of man free, a lot of man match quarters, and making those quarterbacks make precise throws. And but I feel like there's a lot of guys back there that can have a great impact this year.
You mentioned those numbers from November. I mean, you look at the full season. You guys were probably, aside from Michigan, as good a defense as there was in the country last year. Do you feel like people kind of overlooked how successful this group was last year?
Probably so. I mean, I feel like you know, may have started not where we wanted to, game one, and then just as the year progressed, you know, I feel like every week we got better and better. Cut down the explosive plays was huge. We played better on third down as well, and just feel like the chemistry and cohesion of last year's group was really good. I feel like that showed on the field.
Is that carried over into this year, you feel?
I do feel like that.
I know there's a lot of attention, obviously, on Sammy Brown coming in as this elite recruit. I talked to Dad a couple of months ago. He was saying, don't overlook Wade Woodaz, and he really liked what he's seen from Wade so far. I guess, one, where do you see Sammy fitting in early, and B, two, how impressive you've been by Wade? What do you think he can do this year?
Yeah, I think Wade can be the guy. You know, you saw that in the bowl game, him moving inside. You know, had a couple weeks of work at playing Mike, and just his ability to go in there and process things, set the front. You know, that's new for him. Being the quarterback of the defense, making all the checks, and he handled it like a pro. But I feel like he can really take the next step this year and really be a solid player for us at the Mike position. And then you know, Sammy, you know, coming in, you know, he's shown what made him the top linebacker in the country, why he won the Buckets as a high school player. You know, I think the good thing is he don't have to carry the workload of coming in and being the guy. You know, I feel like we're at a good spot depth-wise in my room. You know, other guys in there, so I feel like the competition in August will sort itself out. You know, exactly how big a role he has to play this season, but you know, I feel like he's shown the attributes that have made him the top linebacker in the country, and I feel like he'll have a really good impact going into this year for our team.
Eric McLean calls Wade Woodaz. I'm wondering if we can start getting that talked about more. I feel like that needs to be out in the public conversation. That should be an official nickname.
Yeah, definitely. So, Woodaz. So, and we got his younger brother now too. So, Woodaz squared.
You
right?
opened up a can of,
yeah,
so to speak.
So,
have you seen some of the veteran linebackers, Barrett Carter, Woodaz, maybe take Sammy under their leadership a little bit and help him along? I mean, obviously, the sky's unbelievably high for him, but what have you seen from the veteran guys and how they brought Sammy in to help him along?
yeah, definitely. I feel like my room is very unselfish. The older guys do a great job of pouring into the younger guys, you know, on a daily basis. As coaches, our time is sometimes limited by NCAA rules, but also by other obligations that we have. So those guys do a great job of doing player-led meetings, you know, not only on the field, but off the field, just how to take care of their body, how to study film. You know, those guys do a great job of taking young guys under their wings. And I feel like it's just the culture at Clemson that's been created over the years. You know, you see it at all three levels. RJ and Tyler are like coaches. You know, I see them in there running meetings. Or maybe it's a Saturday and they got some young guys with them and they're out here working on the field when nobody's watching or nobody's around or whatever it is, taking them out to dinner. I feel like we have a very unselfish culture and everybody's pulling in the right direction.
What stands out about Sammy's skill set? You got to see some in the spring. You said he looks the part of the top linebacker in the country. What stands out specifically?
Obviously, he got great size. You know, 6'3", 235 to 238, whatever he is. But being that big and being able to run like he can, you know, state champion in track, state champion in wrestling, great running back, ran for thousands and thousands of yards in high school. And then just growing up around the game, being a coach's kid, just his knowledge of the game, his understanding, playing running back and playing linebacker, I feel like they see things almost identical, just on opposite sides of the ball. So I feel like that goes hand in hand. And then just his work ethic, you know, he loves the weight room, loves the grind, and very unselfish, extremely hardworking guy. You could go on and on about the type of character he has.
Last question. Anybody? All right.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank y'all.